paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying, I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Corbin Hostler. I'm with DJ and Cass, and just so everyone knows, 1/3 of this podcast is suffering from mal de debarquement syndrome.
What?
Is it like being sad that you're not on a cruise anymore?
You're not entirely wrong. Mal de
Is it being happy that you're not on a cruise anymore?
No, it's a rare vestibular disorder where your brain has trouble readjusting to stable ground after prolonged passive motion. While it often resolves on its own, some people experience lingering symptoms for months or years and may benefit from treatments like vestibular physiotherapy. Staying hydrated and eating light, balanced meals can also help.
So like
I had
you
a
got
good-
scurvy or something?
It's apparently like we get off the boat on Saturday, we go get lunch at Shake Shack in Orlando. Love it. And all of a sudden, I'm just like sitting in the chair and I'm just like, "Rrrp." And I'm like, what the fuck? And we looked it up, and it turns out that when you get off a boat, after you've been on a boat for a long time, especially a pretty rocky boat like we were on, your body still thinks you're on a boat, and you just spend your time on land going like this, feeling all woozy and shit. It's really
It's
weird.
like an inner ear syndrome? It's a vestibular, right?
Yeah, I guess you know.
Your inner
it's-
ear is just used to compensating for the boat's sway, and so now you're just like...
Yep. So it felt
Man,
very
that
odd.
sucks.
Yeah. So it turns out my wife actually knows somebody who this happened to, and they had the complications years later kind of version of it. So I'm feeling better. So at least I'm not dealing with that, you know.
Bro,
But
almost
anyway,
got one-shotted by a boat.
welcome into the show, everybody. Yeah, it was like they're like, yeah, it makes me uncomfortable to fly because of this thing that happened to me from a boat. I didn't have that experience. I loved the boat. I spent a lot of time on the deck eating free pizza, free barbecue, watching Disney movies with my kid. Speaking of, anyone seen The Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy?
It's been
2003.
like 15 years, sure. Yeah, like 15, 20 years.
Okay.
I have seen it.
I'm on deck 11 watching this movie at midnight on Halloween with my son, eating free pizza with ice cream laid out. It was amazing. I just got to say, highly recommend. But we're watching this movie, and all of a sudden he goes, "Dad, are those magic cards?" And I'm like, "Ben, I thought they were too." I looked it up. In the kids' room in this movie that came out in 2003. So when magic was like not even 10 years old, there's a whole like the most prominent part of the wall when they walk out of the room. It's a bunch of like cards from like Urza's, like 6 or 8 cards put up on the wall next to 2 posters of Magic the Gathering. And I'm like, how much did they pay for this in 2003? Because good for them.
Do either of you remember The Sorcerer's Apprentice?
Yes,
Yes.
I did. That's what I told Ben.
I've been thinking about that recently, where like... Was that a movie about a kid who played magic or something? Like, it was this weird tie-in. But
It
do
was
remember-
I think the bad guy was like the antagonist kid was like a Magic the Gathering champion or something.
But that was like M11 booster packs. You could open a Primeval Titan and a Sorcerer's Apprentice ad card. Man, what a time.
It was weird, yeah.
Like a $50 Primeval Titan too. Like a hunk.
I mean, that was the era in which WotC was not keeping the lights on particularly great. Like they were on the come off of like the Time Spiral, Lorwyn, Alara.
People don't talk about that
Morrow's got to
these
eat,
days.
you know?
People don't talk about these days, and it really bothers me whenever the Universes Beyond discourse gets going. Not to get too far into that or whatever, just to say that some of us remember a time when they were cutting Pro Tours from the schedule.
Yeah.
Probably because the Pro Tour costs like $1 million or whatever to run. That would be why.
You heard the Zendikar stories of like they were designing Zendikar by candlelight because they literally couldn't keep the lights on, and then one of the
That's why they did
hey.
That's why they did the hidden treasures.
That's why they did Fetchlands. That's why Mythics got really good really fast. They were just like, we have to sell booster packs. We have to get someone to purchase a pack, and so that's how Goblin Guy got printed. Like, let's print the best red 1-drop ever. Let's print Goblin Guy. Let's print Misty Rainforest. Lotus
that's why
Cobra,
they tried to.
sold packs.
I don't want to say this, but that was around the time there was experiments with the reserved list, like Phyrexian Negator and stuff.
Mox Diamond. Yep.
Yeah.
Mox Diamond, yep.
So like, some of us remember that time, and it's just kind of rough now when you see some of the discourse around, well, why is Magic doing all these things that make them more money? I want my purest game that's dying. That's what I want. And it's like,
people love an underdog.
Speaking of keeping lights on, this podcast is brought to you by MTG Ban, which is the premier data aggregate and tool to price Magic cards with and to make money off of the game and to help make the game more affordable. Pretty much all of our breaking bulks and picks of the week come in some way, shape, or form through MTG Ban. I will run my spreadsheets that come out of the Roka through Ban and process them there. And it is just a magical tool that is a before-after if you're ever looking to level up in the industry in any way. You can sign up for a free trial for 2 weeks, and then after that, that's not even with our code, and then after that, if you're having fun, you can save some more money and use promo code BSB50, that is BSB50, to get 50% off. That is 50% off your first month. And they have a Discord server where you can talk to other very, very well-established vendors and chat about many, many different things. And yeah, that's who pays our lights, and that's who keeps our lights on, so we don't have to sort bulk by candlelight.
My room so well lit. Thank you, Ben.
I will. I want to note that we want to explain better, because as we're sitting here complaining about people who don't remember back in the day, we're not particularly explaining well back in the day. When they did Zendikar, they did the hidden treasures promos where you could literally open a Black Lotus or whatever, a piece of power in a box of Zendikar, or along with a box of Zendikar, however it was packaged, because that's what they needed to do at that time. Yep. They wanted to do a special thing to generate hype, blah, blah, blah. It did. But that was the big push at the time. It was and my understanding is that they acquired the cards. They didn't print more.
Correct. Yeah. There's stories in the vendor industry of people remembering when Wizards themselves would buy their HP beta swords or plowshares off of eBay or something like that. And it's like, this is going to Wizards for something. So yeah, they had to go out. It wasn't we found some boxes of legends in a warehouse, Dominaria United thing. It was they actually went out and found all the hidden treasures, and it was only for the first print run of Zendikar, and some of those are technically still out there. I believe there's a story from a year or two ago from a European Magic Con where somebody did some sort of flashback special draft where they got to use original Zendikar packs, and they opened a Tundra on camera. That was just a year or two ago, and they call the judge, and the judge is like, yeah, you can play that. It's fine.
Yep. I mean, I really do, like, I remember at my Zendikar pre-release, someone opening a candelabra and us being like, okay, a good joke. Why did you put that in the pack?
Jesus. And at the time, that was what, like $40, $50? Like, that was like one of the lower end hits?
That was around the era. I want to say Scars of Mirrodin was the newest set when I traded a playset of Arcbound Ravagers for a playset of Candelabra of Tana so that I could play High Tide. Yep. Like, I think maybe New Phyrexia was the newest. I think Modern had been announced at this point, but it is. We talk about back in the day, and we talk about like how Magic was dying or whatever, but at the same time, like, they made a lot of really strong decisions. And I think they rode those coattails for a while, and that's how we kind of got into like the Kaladesh, Shadows over Innistrad, like Amonkhet era, where things were pretty rough.
Oh, and, yeah, for sure.
We've sort of seen a return to form in terms of business acumen, at least, in the Universes Beyond era, which I know people will contest and argue, but they're making money, so that part's pretty hard to argue.
Speaking of, how much money do you think they make when they put the encyclopedias on sale yesterday?
More than 0. I don't know. So
More of a rhetorical question. The Secret Lair Encyclopedia countdowns went up yesterday after 45 minutes of delays, like 2 different delays pushing it back. Eventually they went on sale, and that is sort of I don't know if this is the right term, but like a countdown calendars type thing that
so
people
for those
get
who
for the
don't know what
holidays.
this product is, which I assume is at least 1% of you listening to this podcast, the first ever countdown Secret Lair they did was a 30th anniversary one 3 years ago. It was the first Secret Lair to have 30 cards, one from each year of Magic history. It was a whole thing. It sold out very quickly. A lot of people didn't manage to get their order in. Since then, they have moved to print to demand and back away from print to demand, so we are back on the limited FOMO schedule here. This one's gimmick was 26 cards, all for the alphabet, so 1 card for each letter of the alphabet. And it went on
It's a
sale
Boxing
for...
Day calendar.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. That was a good joke.
Yeah, it was a good one. And there's no huge $100 card in this one. Last time it was Chromox, but it's full of a lot of big hitters, and the supply is definitely limited, and these will do very well. It went on sale for $200. There was also a bundle version you could get that had a foil and a non-foil, and so you were limited to 2 bundles and 2 of the singles. You could get 6 total units per order, totaling $1,000, and I mean, it's just like any other Secret Lair nowadays. Some people were able to get them. Some people stayed in line for an hour and were not able to get them. I had, I want to say 5 or 6 queues open, and I ended up getting 2 orders total. So I did okay. Most of my other windows were open just as fail-safes. I didn't actually want to complete transactions on all those, but it was just sort of a just-in-case situation.
Yeah.
I actually was on
count.
top of this time around. I was able to get 2 of the bundles.
I'm kind of at a spot with these Secret Lair drops now where I open up one window, I get on at the time it starts, and if I get Secret Lairs, great, and if I don't, I have other places to put my money, and it doesn't bother me. This one I like kind of wanted to get it because I do like advent calendars, but like I think at this point they're like the Spider-Man Secret Lairs, if I were to try and sell the ones that I have right now, it would not be good.
Yeah, same with the Sonic. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
the recent ones have a high enough supply that they are looking at a reasonably long timeline, somewhere between 6 months and a year to fully maturate.
Well, what do you think about this one?
And
I think this one's
this
very,
one's
very
a slam
good.
dunk. Yeah. This
Having
one's probably
all
a double
of,
up immediately.
yeah, having a very large quantity of cards goes very far in maximizing your value off of these because you have so many more target customers for each individual card. It's one of the reasons the decks do so well. I mean, they do well because they're decks, but also because you can break it down into 99 cards and not just 4 cards.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, I'm pulling up the full list here, I think there is 3 cards in the layer that were over $50 retail before this dropped, right? It's like Urza Saga, Field of the Dead, and I feel like there's a third one.
Alter?
Phyrexian
Phyrexian
Altar.
Altar, like 3 cards that are $50 before this dropped, approximately, give or take a few bucks.
Yeah.
And I don't think this will impact the prices of those cards. This is
Correct.
not a large enough supply, not even close to a large enough supply to count as an Urza Saga reprint.
Now, would you say, so in this layer, is it the cards are randomly foil like they were in the previous one, or are there full foil and full non-foil layers?
I think they're random because I did not have an option to buy foil or
Right.
non-foil.
I mean, I don't see any delineation.
Okay, then what
My
the hell
order.
what's the hell's in the bundle?
It's just 2 of them.
Oh, it's just okay.
You just
I
get to
thought the
buy
bundle
them
was
for
one
less.
foil, one non-foil.
No, you just get to buy them for less money.
Oh,
So anyways, as I was saying, what is the foil Urza Saga from this worth? Like, that could be a $100 card. The card looks incredible.
if they're doing the same
What's that?
foiling system as last calendar, it is
30
a
minutes.
1 in 3 chance for each card to be foil. So every time you open a pack of 1, you have a 33% chance for that card to be foil.
I mean, that sounds to me like $100 Urza Saga is probably the best card in the set.
For sure.
Yeah, like
Phyrexian
I'm
Altar
happy
is
to
probably
pay-
close. That card is
I agree.
very, very, very popular.
Yeah, Saga probably has higher supply overall than Altar, but like in terms of nice copies, I believe Saga has fewer nice versions than Altar at this point, but I could just be. I think they're probably pretty
Your only
similar.
options for nice Urza Saga is like $300 textless one, yeah.
Right. So we're coming off of this Advent calendar, Boxing Day calendar, Secret Lair. The week before we had the PlayStation drop, which I bought 0 of, by the way, and I feel pretty justified in that. And then the week before that was like the fall super drop with like the Iron Maiden and Kieran Yen or stuff. I think that was might have been 2 weeks before. And now we have the Avatar bundle releasing 2 weeks from now. Like, I'm not one normally to say product fatigue, but I see vendors who are choosing to not engage with Secret Lairs, which maybe is the goal, right? Maybe the goal is just to blast so many of them that vendors stop caring about them and it becomes more direct to consumer. But I think at the end of the day, WotC doesn't really care who buys them.
Yeah. I think it's everything, though. I think, and again, not to harp on product fatigue or whatever, but man, I went on vacation and Spider-Man disappeared. Like, next year's, the back end of next year is going to be worse. I think 2027 will be better. Next year is going to be brutal for release
2026 is going to be the best year for Magic ever. They're releasing the Star Trek cards. So, like, jot that down, white boy.
You got 5 weeks to enjoy them.
Oh, I will be marinating in Star Trek for those 5 weeks. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited for the sets individually, but I feel like I haven't even seen Spider-Man cards. I hope I get to engage with Avatar. I really want to do Ninja Turtles, but
I know.
Anyway,
I have 3 Spider-Man cards, and I think that's enough.
Yeah,
Corbin, have you watched Avatar yet? Have you planned to watch Avatar yet?
I mentioned it I talked to Ben about it, so I'm trying, but he's in his I'm too cool for cartoons phase. Except while we were on the cruise, he decided he wanted to do good at Disney trivia, so he started wanting to watch all the Disney movies and made me put on literal Bambi at one point.
Instead of that, show your kid the 3.5-hour video essay ranking every Disney Channel original movie. I think that's probably a better vibe.
Ooh.
I don't know if the video is appropriate for your child.
You know they made Under Wraps 2?
Yes, I have seen the video ranking every single.
Oh, okay.
Disney
Well, I didn't know when the
movie.
video was made or how recent it was or anything. I think it was like in the last couple of years. I was a real connoisseur of Disney Channel original movies for a long time, like through college. High School Musical was basically the breaking point for me. That was when it passed me by.
Sorry, the video's 6 hours. I will also say, being really into Disney Channel original movies is one of the gayest things a person can do. Like, not derogatory, it's just, that's the thing. And so you saying that, Corbin, really does not help meet the allegations. It's like, oh my god, do you know they made Under Wraps 2?
My buddy and I used to sit in his house in college and play World of Warcraft and watch Wizards of Waverly Place all night long.
Play World of Warcraft. That's what I call
Wizards
it too, buddy.
of Waverly Place. I love that show.
Twinking is a World of Warcraft term originally.
I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna let him know.
True.
I'm gonna see him in a few days. I'm gonna tell him.
What does that mean in World of Warcraft?
Tell him it's the gayest thing we've ever done.
A low-level character who has all the best gear. So, like, everyone gives you, like, all the good gear so you can get up to speed faster. I believe that's what twinking is.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to predict this conversation and I'll report back next week. I'm going to tell him that I was told that was the gayest thing we've ever done. And he's going to say, what about that time we slept head to toe in a twin bed together? That's what he's going to reply with. So I'm just calling it now.
I just linked the article for Twink on the WoW Wiki.
Well, this podcast went off the rails, but I'm suffering from the divisions, so
Call a bondulance, but for Corbin instead. Who wants to break some bulk?
Let's break some bulk.
Breaking bulk time.
I have a Throne of Eldraine Black Uncommon.
It's not Sir Conrad. That's too easy.
I don't know if Sir Conrad is picked.
Revenge of Ravens.
No, it's not Revenge of Ravens.
Damn it, that was such a good guess.
Sir Conrad is The most recent printing of Sir Conrad is under the bulk threshold from Iroga.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
It's
40
crazy
cents.
because I have a full set of Throne of Eldraine in Korean sitting on my desk that I can't grab, otherwise that'd be cheating. You said uncommon? Is it like the... Is it... No, that's a common. The Adventure Crow.
Oh, it's that set. Okay.
It's Oko set.
Yeah. I look at this set all the time.
Is Bastion of Remembrance?
That's a Ikoria.
No, that's Ikoria.
Ikoria, yeah.
Curse of Crows is the one like when they attack you, they lose one life, right?
That's
Revenge of
it's
Ravens
Revenge
is the
of
card you pick,
Ravens.
but it's not
Okay.
Revenge
Yeah.
of Ravens.
Curse of
Yeah,
Crows is going to be a sick version of that card when they make it.
That's my
though.
new band name.
It's not the adamant creature, right? That's a common.
Is it a knight?
It's not a knight. Actually, my band name is Revenge of Ravens crossed out with a Sharpie and Curse of Crows written under it in a different
Yeah,
color Sharpie. That's my band
pretty
name.
funny. That's pretty funny. I don't know the answer though.
Y'all are gonna feel
Okay, well, is
Emotion.
it
It's
just
a
like
removal spell, I think.
yeah? Is it like
it's not a
infernal?
removal spell.
Oh, okay.
All right, don't tell me. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna feel like a jackass.
Uh-huh.
Is it just some kind of like blood artist?
Kind of.
Is it Cauldron Familiar?
It is Cauldron Familiar.
Okay,
Fuck you.
whatever.
You're right. You're right.
Card
We're
is-
stupid, but also.
Card is still over $1 TCG player market price. Card Kingdom will pay you they will pay you $1.15 for 107 copies.
No one
so
wants
if
to
you
think
have
about that card,
some
man.
like hoarding cat lady levels of Cauldron Familiar, you can get $100 for those. And you could also probably list them for like $1.99 and they'll sell anyway. And the card has been reprinted a few times in some very weird ways. It's got like a secret lair where it's got a lot going on. It's on the list. It's got a store championship promos. It's like $1 or $2. That all these have pretty good art. But yeah, Cauldron Familiar is the piece to many infinite combos because if you have a way to make the food and get rid of the
With
cat,
Samwise
it'll just-
Gamgee.
you just go infinite and
Yeah.
the cat is, like I said, kind of a blood artist. It's a win condition. A lot of damage adds up over time. You can do this at instant speed, make a blocker. It like comes back untapped. There's a lot of just like really annoying. This card does so much work, and Wizards continues to print food, clues, and treasures. And this is the food one.
Yep. All right, I'll jump in. I have a Modern Horizons 2 Red Common.
Strike it rich.
It is Strike It Rich. Notably, Strike It Rich is a $6 foil. The base
Whoa.
printing's almost $1, but it's an expensive foil too.
Modern Storm players love this card. It's a pretty strong effect, actually. Like, people do not realize how much layaway 1 mana is in combo decks.
Yeah, and it also, for a time or whatever, I think was an Indomitable Creativity piece, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it still sees play in the Modern Storm deck occasionally. It was a creativity piece. It's kind of Simeon's Spirit Guide for an era which doesn't allow for that sort of monkey
Yeah.
business.
Well done. All right, go ahead, Cass.
I have an Aetherdrift Blue Rare.
Can we ban that set for just everything?
Mindspring Merfolk.
No, but I do like that you went with a Merfolk. Very on theme, very on brand.
I can't even think of the Aetherdrift set symbol. It's like a flag, right?
It is
It's
a
got to be a
flag.
flag.
Yeah, it's a checkered flag.
Azure Beastbinder.
I'm gonna white flag this
That's
breaking bulk.
That's a Bloomborough card.
That makes sense.
Aetherdrift Blue Rare.
I keep getting y'all with rares, which is really embarrassing for you because there's only like 8 rares of each color in each set.
Yeah, but there's 24 sets a year.
Does it
That's
have
fair.
start your engines?
No.
Probably not.
No, it does not.
I'm also gonna cheat and then be emotionally
Is it a
regulated when I
creature?
find it out.
Is it a creature?
It's not a creature.
So if I type S:DFT C:U R:R up down down left right smash,
Pass.
God, all of these are the first place foils look so hideous. River Churn Monument.
It is
Sure.
with all of your additional help. It's Millstone that also is kind of traumatized.
Yeah, this card's cool.
This card's cool. It's got a 60-cent buy list. It is a card that you will be pulling out of bulk rares for a while, and it's a mill card. It's a mill rare.
It is a win condition in standard.
That's actually how I found it. Was I was looking at Jeskai control lists for standard because of the way that I am as a person, and I saw a River Churn Monument, and I was like, "Oh, that card's worth a little bit of money." And I pulled out a bulk
I'm
rares
ready
all
to
the time.
cook after the ban list update next week. Someone walked into my store yesterday with a paper standard deck built, looking to buy cards to finish it. Was completely unaware that
Corbin, let me stop you. By paper standard deck list, you mean they brought in a physical piece of paper with cards written? Okay.
60 Magic cards sleeved, 15 cards sideboarded, ready to make mana. The deck wasn't good. It wasn't even remotely, but like it was a good start. Someone was brewing. He had just come back to Magic after 12 years. He was putting things together. He was excited to play Magic, and he wanted to play Standard because he wasn't really familiar with Commander. And I was like, well, after next week when Vivi gets banned, and then I had to tell him what Vivi was, you know, like we want to try Standard here. I think that's awesome. And I personally am ready to cook in the format.
Just to cause violence against our listeners, 12 years ago was Journey into Nyx, or like
No.
ish.
Tarkir.
Like this is around the same time. Like Journey to Nyx and like Tarkir a few months apart. Like that's
Cons was 2014.
2013.
Cons was end of 2013. Right?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You're right. Actually, it was Theros. Theros was in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
This time last year, May of 2013 was coming out.
Friend of the cast, Ray.
So
Future Pro.
Nekusar Winter was the thing.
Yeah.
Driving
True
Name Nemesis
was just being
driving.
printed,
Driving to local stores to buy out their Mind Disease decks.
And watching
It's
friend
crazy.
of the cast, Ray, Future Pro Perez, top 8 the PT.
True. That year, the Hall of Fame inductees were Luis Scott Vargas, William Jensen, and Ben Stark. For reference.
All three still involved.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was at the standard event in Baltimore, and it was cool. Obviously, he wasn't playing because he's a WotC person now, but William Jensen was at the event, kind of watching and seeing what's going on with standard, and you know he's an organized play person at Wizards, and it's just like it's cool to have people who have been a part of the competitive Magic scene for so long be so directly involved.
Yeah, and for as much as people are down on Magic organized play, it seems like in general, blah, 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 you know, the metagame is not what Huey is doing at Wizards, right? He's the one responsible for, you know, probably has a hand in things like the Spotlight series or the limited Pro Tour.
Back.
Yeah, like the limited Pro Tour that's like, yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that gives me, you know, some excitement for the future. Like you don't get a limited Pro Tour type event without someone like that pushing for it, because that is not something you can easily sell to a business exec.
No matter what everyone thinks, he has probably one of the hardest jobs in Wizards. His job is to convince a corporation to spend money on something that doesn't make immediate returns. And like, God bless him. People's champion.
All right. Well, there you go. That is some breaking bulk, everybody. And now we're going to break format just a bit because, you know, we talk about Magic on this show all the time, as it is, in fact, a Magic podcast. But there is other stuff going on in the world that does impact us. And that means Riftbound and to a lesser extent, Pokemon right now. But let's start with the big one, the new artifact that's going to kill Magic, or whatever it is people say. But more importantly, maybe it's just a fun game. Let's talk about Riftbound.
So as many listeners of the cast may know, I believe League of Legends is ontologically evil. I believe that Riot as a company is actually like one of the core roots of evil in our society. That said, you kind of gotta hand it to Riftbound. Pretty fun game.
It's a bunch of Magic designers who made it. They like just everything else aside. The people behind the game know what they're doing to an extent.
Drunk driving gets a lot of people to work on time to who's to say it's bad. Is that the?
I'm saying that I respect the designers behind this game. Is what I'm saying.
League of Legends is pure evil, but good game designers can make it into a fun game. There is like one standout leader that's better than the rest right now. They also overrated a little bit the starter deck legend, and so like that's the other best deck, but the games are really dynamic, the decisions you make are interesting, the victory condition is cool, deck building is really fun. For those who don't know, in Riftbound you have like a 40 card main deck, you have a leader, and then one of your 40 cards is your champion, who kind of is like a companion in the companion zone or whatever, who you can only play with a certain leader, and then you pick like 3 battlefields, and each game you draw at a random battlefield, and you also have like a mana deck. You make a ton of decisions in deck building to total up to about 65 cards, and the games are like pretty quick paced, decision intensive. I think it's probably a game where competitive Magic players are going to love it because they get to feel smart. Speaking of which, a dear friend of mine who's a WotC employee who can't play Magic tournaments anymore tried to spike the Riftbound event in Tacoma and did top 8 because obviously the game's really cool. I don't know what to say. I wanted to be a hater, but I'm not. The cards look good. Specifically, the nice cards look good. The random like commons, uncommons, rares look mediocre, but like the showcase foils look amazing. I actually purchased a showcase leader card that is just one of the 3 best looking cards I've ever seen in my life across any game. I'll link an image of it.
I think everything you've said so far, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I have also heard about One Piece.
I was going to say the same thing.
The same exact thing about One Piece, which may or may not be good. I think I've heard similar things to Lorcana.
The difference is Lorcana and One Piece have bad gameplay, in my estimation. Like, their gameplay is not compelling to me, a competitive gamer. Which is to say, obviously I'm not a target demographic for these sorts of games. One Piece actually has cards that look good. Lorcana does not.
Yeah, I'll say that when we were on our Disney cruise, unfortunately, they were not doing this program they had piloted the month before where you could like do some kind of scavenger hunt to earn some special crazy Lorcana card. But they did hand out Lorcana cards to every single, or Lorcana packs to every single person at the end of the trick-or-treat line. So that's the audience for Lorcana, is the kids in the trick-or-treat line.
Yeah. One of the things about... Like, I mean, One Piece is a game that had its marginal success. I think it still has pretty large tournaments, and the cards are worth something. I think these days, new card games are like 5-year to 10-year ventures at best. It is so, like, Magic and Pokemon are such... And I'm not counting Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Yu-Gi-Oh's dead as far as I'm concerned. Rest in peace. Beautiful game.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's in a weird spot.
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh's like not dead, but it's mostly dead in the US, but it's still very much not, but also like 95% of its market share is like not in this country, so it's fine.
Correct. Yeah. But like Pokemon and Magic are such juggernauts that people think like, oh, will this be the next Magic or Pokemon? The answer is nothing ever will be.
Correct.
Nothing. To have something that large, you had to have built it 30 years ago, because now, I mean, Riftbound, One Piece, Lorcana are all beholden to shareholders in a way that Magic wasn't for a long time.
I think the best way to frame that in a lot of people's minds is to think, so like obviously Riftbound cannot be the next Magic, we know that. But if you reverse this, and if Magic suddenly made a MOBA and you were like, can that be the next League? No, it can't. No. Like that, absolutely. Exactly. No, that's their lane. They own it. They right. built this empire for 30 years, and that's where they get to rest on their laurels and do whatever the hell they want with no consequence. Like Riot Games is not going, like League is obviously hemorrhaging. It's not in its heyday. It's like struggling to maintain, to like incorporate new players because it's a nightmare to learn to play. It's such an insane learning curve, but like it's not going anywhere. It's got a dynasty, a legacy. It's got a huge international audience. It's got its media properties in other fingers, like Arcane is its
stars.
secret lair, all this stuff. Sure, but like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna beat Magic at cards. You're just not.
I think one of the things about
Sorry, sorcery fans.
right. You're not going to beat Magic at cards. You're not going to beat Pokemon at having the best characters. You're not going to beat League of Legends at being a MOBA. But a Magic MOBA could be pretty fun and make some money. Just like Riftbound is probably going to be pretty fun and make some money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My endorsement of Riftbound in this space is that it is a really fun game that is currently experiencing the didn't print enough for set 1. Cards are going to get too expensive. By the time set 2 rolls around, everyone's going to be upset about that. And then by the time set 3 rolls around, we'll see how the game goes. Like, set 3 is when games like this really get to make or break.
Yeah. It's usually about a year in once you've gotten past the initial excitement. And then people hit that point of like, all my friends are playing Commander over there.
Right. Why am I here playing Star Wars Unlimited when...
With 4 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, like, this is it's kind of the same problem that we talk about with competitive Magic, where it's like everyone's just playing Commander, and that's why nobody is going to be the next Magic, because not a single one of these games has cracked the formula the way Richard Garfield / Sheldon Minery did over the past 30 years of having a highly competitive 1v1 game that is also a 4-person board game that you can pick up with anyone in the world. So it's just, that's all sort of the state of things. That said, I want to play Riftbound. I want to commentate Riftbound. Unfortunately, the first tournament is on the first weekend, or is on the weekend of Worlds, so I'll be at that. But I think Riftbound is awesome. And the thing that League does, or that Riot has going for it here, is when they decide that we're putting the Riftbound World Championship in the same building as the League of Legends World Championship the day before.
There was this, they actually just had it was a Chinese national championship event for Riftbound. Right. And the photos from it were like, yep, this is a miniature version of League Worlds. They do not play around with the organized play. Like, I am someone who has spent my entire life actively trying not to engage with League of Legends, and I was this morning talking about Faker. Like, they build stars. You know, there's the old joke about like, oh, you know, the SG Tour was a success because it convinced you to care about XYZ person. Turns out that good enough marketing can make you care about a game up to and exactly including a star. And if they try and make star Riftbound players, they're going to succeed, because that's what they do. That's what their company does, is they make champions.
I'm still so salty about Legends of Runeterra. Like,
Riftbound is your consolation.
The other thing about it is, like, we saw what happened to Hearthstone. It's so difficult to monetize a digital card game that is not Magic.
Well, and I think without getting too into financials, blah, 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 like, I think it's hard to monetize any digital card game, including Magic, to the level that you can monetize Magic. If that makes sense, right? Like,
Magic is monetizable because Magic players are zealots, right? Like, if you didn't have people so devoted, they wouldn't spend their money on Arena.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's all very interesting. I really hope that Riftbound does well.
These Arena vintage cubes are way too expensive. Click purchase, click play. How dare Wizards do this to me? It should be It's a click, 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 click.
Well, I won't lie. I raged out twice on Arena last night because I played like just a sick green deck 2 drafts in a row and somehow ran into balance 4 fucking times on turn 3. And it was just like, best of 1 balance is really, really rough to as an experience to spend some amount of dollars on, right? Like, to me, arena gyms are funny money, whatever, but like I'm paying $10 or $15 or whatever to do that, and then you just not having best of 3 is really felt in Power Cube. That was my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it was not as fun. I don't like to play Magic Online as much, so I was really excited about playing Power Cube on Arena, but I think I may be switching over to traditionals because it is kind of rough, but also the prizing was rough. People were getting 65-70% win rates and losing gyms or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about Cube is that it exists on Moto to fix the ecosystem. Yeah. It's like a way to suck play points out of the ecosystem or whatever. And by God, it's successful at that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's briefly touch while we're on other card games. The Pokemon market, there's a lot of chatter online about it being down. I can tell you that my article going up on TCG Player this week dives into the data, and it was large, maybe not necessarily huge drops, but drops on a lot of big name cards, and almost nothing going up over the past couple weeks. So you take that what you will with Pokemon 3 months before the official 30th anniversary. But that's sort of the what the chatter is there. And maybe that's connected. Maybe there's something about people are getting Riftbound money. Maybe there's just holidays. People are I don't know what the cause is, but that's sort of the wide view of what's happening.
It's a combination of so many factors. It's hard to really point at any one in particular and say what it is, but like, the economy's not doing great. People are broke. The crypto people are bullish on other things right now. The sports card guys see other opportunities in Magic and other spaces growing, and so they're moving their money around a little bit. The holidays are coming up. Pokemon was in this insane bull market where people were like, oh, we can just say the name of a card on a big enough TikTok account and it triples in price. Let's just do that. I think this is a correction. Now, the 30th anniversary might just blow it out of the water again. The thing about Pokemon is you can just kind of never underestimate it. I think that I wouldn't take any particular signs of market downturn to mean anything for the long term. Personally, I'm treating Pokemon exactly the same as I always have, which is I buy at a reasonable number and my plan is not to hold anything forever.
Yeah, I think that is kind of what I came to as well, in that there are a lot of big cards, Bubble Mew, Waterfall Magikarp, the Mew EX from the 151. A lot of them are dropping, but then it's just like, okay, well, what if we stop living in the moment and pull this graph back to 6 months, pull this graph back to a year, and all of a sudden it looks like, okay, well, sure, yeah, the card's down 20-30% in the past 2 months, but also it's up 30% for the year. So like, what are we really talking about here? But at least in a very narrow window, that seems to be what's happening.
Guy who opens the S&P 500 sees that it's down 2% today and panics, and then clicks on the 5-year graph and sees that it's up 93% in 5 years and is like, oh, never mind, everything's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that said, Pokemon market is a house of cards, so to speak. There's not utility driving them the way there is Magic.
There's also not utility driving NVIDIA stock, so who's to say?
That's
what I was gonna say. It just we'll see what it comes out to, but like the way that things can people can say a card on a TikTok and it triple in price, theoretically that can work the other way as well. Although I think a lot of people are sort of acclimated to this idea of just hodling their way through it. So yeah. All right, well, that's enough other games. Let's talk about Magic again. Avatar is coming up. We won't dive too deeply into the spoilers. Remember when we used to do set reviews? We used to spend like 2 weeks doing set reviews.
Because we had
I hated every minute of everyone.
Well,
this is your bread and butter draft uncommon. Like, this is gonna get it's gonna get you some wins in limited. It's not gonna be worth anything. All right.
We had grades and shit.
This is a bulk rare. This is a bulk rare.
Yep.
Chase Mythic. It was just saying the same 4 lines over and over again.
Yep.
It didn't matter.
Yeah. But it filled content. That's what people wanted. Because that was where things were at.
It's where the Chromanticore memes were made, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
We are pigs and we do love slop. And that's okay.
We also love picks of the week. Let's do some picks of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
All right. I have a pick of the week, and it's based on Avatar cards, and I picked it and then looked at the graph and thought that it had already jumped, and it hasn't, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I am going to review this set of one card right here. It is Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. It's a card that turns your creatures into lands. Earthbending is a mechanic that turns your lands into creatures, but it also gives them counters and then makes them so that they come back when they die or are exiled. Ashaya plus Earthbending something seems like it could be a thing. The card is generically good in Commander either way. It just does some weird stuff because not many other things turn your creatures into lands. Most things turn lands into creatures, and this does the opposite. It was reprinted in Duskmourn Commander. It is like $6. There's not an insane buy list on it. Card Kingdom pays you a reasonable $4.50, depending on the version you have. Card is just generically pretty good. It has some secret layer printing that is expensive. The promo printing is pretty expensive, but honestly, just I think the regular one can go climb up to 10, and that's where I got this from. I clicked a button on ban that says newspaper, which is just a like upload daily or weekly upload, depending on what you pay for. It shows the singles that have decreased the largest amount in vendor listings. It shows the singles that have increased the largest amount in vendor listings. It shows the greatest increase in buy list offers, so cards that Card Kingdom was paying an amount on and now pays more on. Greatest decrease in buy list offers. There's just a lot of data you can tinker with here. I don't use it too much in my day-to-day. I mostly just use it for the podcast, for the newspaper. But it's very handy for getting picks of the week and cards that you think like, oh, that seems like it could go up, and then you use your intuition and the Discord server that has a bunch of other people in it to figure out why the card might go up.
I'm going to come in with a bit of a called shot here, not to go all, Ryan Bouchard on you here, but I have been tinkering in Standard in anticipation of the Vivi ban, and I will tell you that I will be playing a green deck following the ban. That green deck does not include this card, but I do think this card's going up in price. Tifo Lockhart is under $3 from Final Fantasy. This gets really out of control, really silly. Whenever a land enters battlefield under your control, double Tifa's power until end of turn. Also, it has trample. It only costs 2 mana. It's pretty trivial for people to get this thing up to 8 or 16 power. In many ways in Standard, and it was a deck kind of floating around at the beginning of the format before things settled where they are. Now, maybe it can never fight its way through Dimir or something like that, but I do think that under $3, basically at an all-time low, Tifa is one of those cards that people will love to play this deck in Standard, should it be even marginally playable, and I think that under $3, you're looking at a pretty low buy-in on an iconic Final Fantasy character.
Yeah, I like that. You know what card's really good against Corbin's crappy green cards? Is my pick of the week, Into the Flood Maw. Uncommon from Bloomburrow. It's like $3 or $4. It is the premier bounce spell in like almost every format at this point. Yeah, I played it in my vintage deck at Vintage Champs this year. Like it is the way you deal with a problem permanent in like combo decks now. It is obviously very strong in the Vivi Cauldron deck, which is likely to not exist anymore, but it's just one of the best rate cards in Standard. It is exactly the thing of there's not that many ways to design an unsummon, and they eventually had to make one that was too good, which is also what happened with Vapor Snag.
Yep.
Very different time periods, but you're right. Like that is essentially what happened.
2 years old now or something.
Yeah, Snapcaster, Vapor Snag, those were the days. Bloomburrow came out in July 2024. Yeah, a year and a half or so almost.
Sure.
So Chris Botello, a well-known control player, deck builder, competitive player all around, said that he unironically believes that Into the Flood Maw is the most problematic card in the format.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny if this thing gets banned next week, but...
they could just
going to be good in other formats, too. It's like better... It's better
I'm not talking
paper.
about it
it's
as
like,
a pick, just how powerful it speaks to its power. Yeah. But I would not be shocked to see them do something like nail Vivi / Cauldron, nail Profs, nail Into the Flood Maw, heck, nail Riddler, like just remove any memory of the Vivi deck.
I think we're more likely to see like a top 5 cards in the format chopped off situation again than that.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, that's two of them.
Cauldron, then Kaito is the most problematic card in the format, and then like
Profs itself is pretty miserable, to be honest.
Profs is a fun, interesting card if you're not also doing Vivi Cauldron things. Does that make sense? Like, the deck doesn't have both angles. The card is fine.
It's made its way into a lot of like is it decks though, and like the danger of them banning cards and ending back up at another is it deck would be so traumatic that they might just ban it.
The thing about like an is it deck built around Prof's Eidetic Memory is that card itself is not intrinsically resilient. Cauldron and Vivi both are, right?
I mean, it's like I would say Profs is sort of a similar engine piece to Up the Beanstalk.
That is one of the most absurd things you've ever said on this podcast, Corbin.
Well, not from a power level perspective, but from you play the card on turn 2, and then it replaces itself.
Yeah.
And then it's going to provide, and then it provides you value for the rest of the game. Like, I'm not sitting here saying it's stronger than it, but
cards and power and toughness are very different vectors of advantage. One of them is the easiest rate to give a card, right? Like power, you can give a creature +4 power, and it adds like 1 mana to it or some shit.
Yeah, totally agree. Not to say like obviously drawing cards is better than putting counters on things, but it just in the function of like how the format plays out. You play the card on turn 2, and while it is obviously easy to answer, it also replaces itself. The thing about Up to the Beanstalk was you could not profitably interact with it because even if you removed it, you were still down a card. And that's sort of the same, like...
I can see where both of you are coming from.
Yeah, like that's the same part that's the same sort of space Profs exists in.
Without these engine pieces, Profs Eidetic Memory is like slightly different Innkeeper's Talent to me.
Yeah, like it's not, like I say, I don't know that it's bannable or whatever, just other than the sense that like they really might want to destroy all parts of this deck so we don't have a third season of an Is It deck being the best thing or whatever after bans, you know?
I do think one of the things that's interesting is that I think if they ban just Vivi Cauldron, then the best decks are Kaito and like Jeskai, and I think that's a really interesting format. If you
I do too.
Are a super spike, if you're someone who wants to play a standard FNM, I think it's terrible for you.
Probably. I don't think Kaito decks are too good.
Pressure on
do you think Kaito decks are too good at that point? Or do you think that
Kaito is a card that warps metagames in a pretty big way?
Yeah.
Hard to interact with, punishes you for playing individually big things. The deck largely plays at instant speed. The problem with Kaito, like Blue-Black Kaito and Jeskai Control, is they're both decks that put a ton of pressure on your deck to function in certain ways, which just limits the scope of cards that can be played. And that's the real problem, is that right now, Standard is like 200 cards that are playable, and there's like 3,000 cards in the format or something, and that sucks.
Yeah, I think I could definitely see them. So on the one hand, it feels like Dimir would be kind of like an okay top deck because it's never really felt like it's always been sort of good. It's never felt dominating, but maybe you remove like Cauldron or whatever, and then Kaito just becomes too absurd. And they could just take 5 cards, like you said, take the top 5 cards off of the format, see what happens. The problem is that's what they did 3 months ago, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it remains to be seen. But I will say that I'm extremely excited to give it a shot, right? Because it almost feels like there's just essentially no innovation or room or attempts to, right, in Standard right now because of the fact that you've got Vivi Cauldron and then you've got Mono Red to play against Vivi Cauldron or whatever, right? Like it's just going to it's basically going to be a new rotation.
DJ and I talked about this last week. I think at least on the cast, I am fairly certain that Vivi Cauldron is the best Standard deck of all time. Like, doesn't mean there's decks that could beat it, but I think Vivi Cauldron, you put it up against like Academy, it crushes Academy. You put it up against like Rector Bargain, it crushes that deck because it just has this powerful cheap interaction. Like Vivi Cauldron never takes a game off of Slowgurk, but that's fine because Slowgurk also can't beat the other decks. Like I think in terms of you know, Vivi Cauldron is the best Standard deck of all time by a reasonable amount, I think. And I think that that's really damning.
Do you think it's more interesting to measure that in how the decks match up against each other or how powerful they are in their respective formats, if that makes sense?
I also think I think
being
Vivi
both
Cauldron
is the issue, right? Like, if,
Right,
if
I'm
you're
not
best
saying
deck in
it-
your own format, and then you're looking for contenders 20 years ago, that's
Yeah.
that's a problem.
we're like,
Well, that's I
there's
think
no deck
it's
in
a
standard that could beat Ravager Affinity right now.
right. That's why I just think it's sort
But
of
like
a
Vivi Cauldron
fascinating
could
question.
potentially, like other than Vivi Cauldron, no deck could be Ravager Affinity, but that deck could. And
Yeah, it could go faster.
I think it is,
yeah.
I think Skullclamp Affinity doesn't even hang with Vivi Cauldron. Like it's close, but
That's what I mean. It's hard to because the power creep is such that your average standard deck in 2025 is just much better than your average standard deck in 2015, right?
Right.
So we start talking about the outliers, and it's to me that if we're trying to like compare what is the best standard deck of all time, just sort of as a academic exercise, basically how can you control for power creep, you know? And it's I that's why I think that it's interesting on both angles, right? It's interesting to think how they match up, but it's also interesting to look at how dominant they were in their respective formats.
right. To me, like the contenders for it are respective to their formats, I should say, are like Cawblade, the Academy,
Affinity.
Skullclamp Affinity, and then like the Adventures deck, like the Oko Adventures deck, or sorry, the Omnath Adventures deck, like
Oko
the
deck,
Blue-green
yeah.
Oko.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of those decks
69%
kind of existed as like a
PT
tier
deck, yeah.
one, and there was one deck in the format that was their foil, and like that's exactly where we are right now, right? This is in conversation with Omnath Adventures, Oko, you know,
It's
Oko
always
mid-range.
like the big
win
bad
rates
guy,
go
and then
nuts.
whatever mono red pile of commons can kick
Yes.
its throat in. Like,
I was actually thinking
Yeah.
it's like it was the red green like Oxida or Oxidize Viridian Shaman deck was the only thing contending with Affinity.
Right.
Yep.
And then
Now
it
it's
just
Razor King
couldn't.
Needlehead.
Yeah, that was the big deal. I remember when people told me about that times I wasn't playing then. It was, yeah, you would put all of these anti-affinity cards into your main deck and still just lose to affinity.
Yep. People were like Chrome Mox, Seething, Songing out, you know, Arc Sloggers, and putting 10 artifact removal spells in their sideboard and still just like running even.
Yeah,
And that's how
very
Standard
fun.
feels right now. Is it's just like people trying to beat Vivi,
Yep.
and the only person who can do it is a mono red player who gets a little lucky.
And the win rates for Vivi were like really absurd last weekend. So excited to see where things go next week. All right. Well, before we get out of here, we want to thank all of you for listening, and a special thank you to our patrons who go to patreon.com/BSB. Hang out with us in the Discord. It makes it feel like a real community, which is, of course, what we've been doing this podcast for 13 years or so now. And it would not be
Speaking of
possible
keeping the lights
without
on,
the patrons.
a lot of people don't know that Brainstorm Brewery is a podcast of the official U.S. government, and with the furlough, we're all of us federal employees are struggling, and so yeah, if you could just
Do you
stop
have a
donating
dollar?
to whatever food pantry, whatever like in community valuable resource you're doing, if you could just not do that and just fund our podcast instead, that'd be great.
If you have $1, patreon.com/BSB, but maybe also help out the food bank. Thank you for listening, everybody. It was Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week.